All right. Hello. Good morning. So, let's see. I just saw a video, VO3 from Google, creating videos in Norwegian. It's just insane. Um, yeah, it's like 2026 is gonna be the year where everyone's gonna realize, I think, what's been happening. I think a lot of people think about these AIs, like being language models or video or image or whatever, that they're just like tiny, like maybe used for some things, and then come to the realization that this is going to change absolutely everything, all of society, much like internet changed everything. It also started out as like from a parent perspective, or that generation, like, oh, the kids are playing games, and then we got like the internet, and then there was some chatting going on, and then the world we live in today where everything's connected. Just me sitting here talking to you, it's insane. um and that happened relatively slow compared to what's happening with AI. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyways, so we're gonna start this day by debugging a couple of things. So I'm gonna do the easy one first, because I know there's yeah, how we're gonna test this. So there is not an issue, but there's a behavior I'm a little bit unsure about that we need to figure out. I think we can just use this thing. No, not this thing. Where's the... Oh, this one I meant. So if we're gonna run... Let's see. Like that, and then we're gonna say as global session true. Let's see. So we're gonna run that bad command. Oh, that's my calendar. Let's see. So we're gonna run the bad command, and that's gonna give us some weird output. So what I think is that yeah, I'm actually not sure, because there's no workspace here compared to... Okay, so let's just copy this, which looks super weird. Oops, sorry. Oh, we do have project. Oh, I just didn't see it. Oh, good thing I copied it. So we have project. Okay. And then we have sandbox and workspace. Oh. Yeah. And then we have, and it's the same if I'm not running as a global session. Yeah, and let's do a dedicated here. I think I turned that off. Let's go back to doing this. What's happened there? Hey, what happened there? Why wasn't it able to run it? Okay. Weird. Oh yeah, but now there's nothing there. Yeah, exactly. This is what's happening. So let's see. Where was the thing? Oh, It's here. Where are you? Here we are. So this is not running Project Sandbox. No. Let's see. It does have project though. Oh, this is weird. I think maybe I need some help with this one. And then I do Sandbox and there's nothing there? Oh. That's weird. Okay. But what if I do ls-a? There it is. What's the folder? How do I do that? Is it PVD? Is that the thing that gives me the... Oh, it uses Project Workspace. Okay. So if I do Project Workspace... Okay. So Project Workspace, but if I do as global session... Okay. Manual, wait. Let's see. Let's see. We're discussing AI, and my cousin is saying like, it's just insane how real it looks. So you can fake anything, but that's also and that's very negative, right? You can fake absolutely everything, but it's also a good thing because as a society, we now know that nothing we see can actually be real, which is the foundation of critical thinking. It's like what you're saying, what I'm seeing, I have to evaluate this. Is this actually true? As opposed to how society works today. We just take it for granted that everything we see and everything that's being said is true, right? But but that's coming from humans, right? So when we know that most of the content is generated by AI, it's just going to force us into critical thinking. So let's see. What was I doing? Yeah, sorry. I'm just gonna report on the stuff I found. Let's see. Which folder is this user looking at? I need to verify the actual difference between the project sandbox and project workspace, but use the project workspace path. Let's see. Okay, I just got to ask my colleagues. Let's see, we need Georgie. I see for but what about so if I have Sandbox as a non-global user, wait a minute. Let's get this straight. So if I have a dedicated session, okay, it's empty. Oh, that's weird. But it's not empty as a global session. I see for global user the Sandbox has content, but also workspace. But for dedicated session, Sandbox is empty. So let's look at workspace as a non-global user. It's there. And what about Sandbox? Oh, sorry. Workspace is there, but as global session, it should also be there. Yeah. Very interesting. Okay, so I'm asking about that, but at least we were able to tick off the thing. And then it doesn't seem like WebSocket wakes up a private VM. How are we going to test this? So what we can do, we can just write a little script. So, well, first we need a Sandbox that's running a WebSocket server. Let's say ChatGPT. Write me a little WebSocket server for Node. Let's see. Did we get a script? Thank you. I guess we can put it in here, and we were using npm install vs node index.js. Yeah, I guess we can run it on 8080. Okay, so now this is gonna be, yeah, this is private. So let's go and grab the ID of that thing. And then we're gonna write a local script here. Let's use this one. Let's just remove everything here. So we also need to discuss providing Git tokens. Maybe we should do that before we... I got some more work done yesterday. I wasn't able to stream again because I was just caught up in discussions and stuff. But I did get some more work done. So we're pretty much ready to start implementing the server-side agent client. But let's see here. What were we gonna do? We were gonna connect to, so that will be resume. So we need to, we're not gonna connect to it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create a token. And then we are going to get the URL. VS URL would be SDK host get URL token, sorry, sandbox ID. Well, I guess we can do sandbox.id. Oh, what was it? Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. token 8080 VSS. So that's going to give us the URL. And then we're going to connect to... How do I connect to this WebSocket server from Node? I can't remember how this works. I guess we can use the same thingy. Yeah, same library. Okay, npm install vs. Let's see. Well, I guess, let's see. Where's, did we have a require here? Oh, there it is. Import WebSocket from... Okay. So if I run this now, npx suite node git scripts ts. Interesting. Let's look at the URL. Yeah, I don't mind. We create the token every time. That's fine. Unexpected server response. What's happening? Nothing's happening here. Does it even work? Oh, I think maybe, okay. Unexpected server response. Yeah, we're getting a redirect. I don't think it works. But if I expose like a health endpoint here, not expert, const HTTP require HTTP, HTTP, give me a health check HTTP endpoint. Okay, let's copy this one. Cool. And that health check is on where? /health. Okay, let's try that. So we're gonna do health URL equals we don't need that one. Yeah. So that's like oh, how do we actually do this? What if I want a path on this? Okay, I guess I have to do like new URL. Yeah, and then yeah, health URL path name. Health URL toString. I guess that's fine. And then we're just gonna make a call. I guess I can fetch. I guess we can await it. Oh. WebSockets. So we don't actually need this thing. Well, I guess it doesn't hurt because we need to generate the URL anyways. Oh, that's interesting. What if I just want to... Ah. Yeah, there's something weird about this API. It's very bound to the tokens, but what if you just want to create a URL to a sandbox? We should have a method for that. Anyways, doesn't matter. Oh, yeah. The problem is, how? So if you're doing this from the browser, it would work. Okay, I think I just have to ask. When connecting to a WebSocket on private sandboxes, it errors on 302 response. Do we not support preview tokens for WebSocket? Because in the browser, it would actually attach, like it would actually write a cookie. But on the server, it doesn't write that cookie. Okay, I'm gonna try something. We're gonna bring up the proxy, and I'm just gonna ask it. So it seems to me that the proxy here handling the preview token cookie. Oh my god. Preview token cookie does not work for WebSocket. When connecting using token query on VSS, it errors with 302. You know, that could be fixed. Let's see. I'll help you try. First, let me examine the picture of how to understand how. Yeah, I need to look more closely at how can was preview token actual token. The code to understand how WebSocket handle. I see the issue with WebSocket. I felt it. Let me examine how the code handles WebSocket. I can see, looking at the picture, I can see that proxy handles based on port types, while the code bypasses authentication for specific port types for WebSocket connection that don't use these port types. When a WebSocket connection is with a token in the query parameter the following, if you're using one of the bypass port types, okay. If you're for other port, it goes through token. If it responds with a to the authentic. The issue is that WebSocket connections can't handle. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but this makes sense because it's a redirect, right? So you can't redirect in a WebSocket. Cannot handle. So when a WebSocket with a token in the queries. Oh, so we can do that. Okay, let's go to a new branch for this. What is it suggesting? This is interesting. Should verify. Check if this is a WebSocket connection. And then, oh. It's just with token, just continue without redirect. The token has already been verified. Oh yeah, at this point. Well, oh, I guess that's it. I don't. So it's basically it's not the initial because there's a handshake, right? Which is HTTP. When it is provided for a regular verifies and redirects the client to remove token from the sets the token in quick internet. In the token, the proxy will verify. Oh, will verify the token, but won't attempt to redirect. Okay, but oh no, I'm confused. Oh yeah, okay, but what if the token is not verified and a redirect needs to happen to make it valid? No way to do that? Right, for WebSocket, if the token is not valid, we can't use the redirect approach to authenticate. Okay. Okay, interesting. But I thought there was like a handshake or something. Definitely so we have to have these limitations. Okay, because I thought WebSockets had like an HTTP handshake first, but that is not. But that does not handle redirects either. So do start, and I should have been more precise about limit. We're going to begin with standard the handshake that includes a special upgrade. Oh, and connection. The server responds with if it accepts the upgrade. While technically the HTTP handshake could handle a most WebSocket clients don't follow redirect during the handshake phase. This is oh yeah. Okay. Okay, we need to change our documentation. But let's see if we can actually make this work first. So I should be well, that's the problem. Okay, but then how would I handle this on a node server? Because if I do an HTTP request first, indeed that will work, but how no, and it writes a cookie on the response, but how would I then send a WebSocket How would I then connect with WebSocket from Node? It does not have those cookies, unlike a browser which shares them. There's so many things. Pass the token. Oh yeah, sorry. So the problem is if it's a valid token. Yeah, okay. Yeah, proceed without redirects. Okay, so we basically need the code that was offered here. So what did you do? Is WebSocket request? Okay, so that means, where was this? Preview info results, wasn't that up here? 401. Okay. Handle errors. Oh. Wait, weren't we? Oh, interesting. Okay. Let's add this stuff. So preview sign in. Oh, this is way too nested. Okay, is WebSocket. And then it's 403, blah, 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 blah. And this is then here. Cool. And then for WebSocket, oh, this isn't that great. But what we want to do is, what did it say? Should is WebSocket request. If the pre is from the okay, so if preview token from URL and preview token equals preview token, skip redirect as they can't handle redirects. Just continue without redirect. But is this code okay, so we're first handling, oh my god, there's too much code there. Let's see. What I don't quite understand here is like, why do we have all this redirect stuff? Okay, we're gonna take some ownership in this and see if we can figure it out. So this is should verify. So this takes care of all this WebSocket stuff. But then why? What I don't quite understand is this part. Why does it want to let it continue here? Shouldn't it What I don't understand is why it wants it to just continue. Because here is where we actually do we set the cookie and we do the redirect. But we need to give an error here because you can't should verify. Oh, sorry, should verify. That's like is private previews and name. Okay, this is variable name. So this, to me, it looks like, oh, there's a preview token we need to verify, but it doesn't do that. It's just now it's looking for the preview token. Or wait, I'm confused by this. Why does it say should? It grabs the token. Oh, it can be undefined. Okay, sorry. Preview info result. And then if the preview info call failed, then we're going to give proper errors, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, exactly. But then I would suggest that here, if it's a WebSocket connection, we should actually give an error, like cannot. Okay. So when we have a verified preview token already, we should not just bypass the redirect. Oh, we should, sorry. That means we have a but wait, I'm confused. This is so if not preview info result, okay. Blah, 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 blah. But why do we redirect if? Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, now I understand. So if you actually pass the token, so this is kind of like the initial thing. So if you pass, yeah, so on a WebSocket connection, it's different. There we just use the token to verify the connection. But we don't, and we do verify, but we don't want to do a redirect. We just want to let it through because we don't want to we don't want to do that stuff. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Oh my God, there's so much. And that was all the way down to. Okay. Okay, I think this is it. Let's see. For WebSocket handling. Fix. So WebSocket does not handle redirects. In this implementation, we give correct errors to WebSocket requests where tokens fail. When using a token and it is valid, we just pass through the request, as WebSockets do not Do not handle 302 to remove query and set cookie. Yeah, I think this is correct. It makes a lot of sense to me. I'm curious what. Yeah, exactly. HTML. Cool. So we're not removing anything. Yes. Okay. Nice. So I'm just gonna share that. Well, I figured out the VS stuff, I think. Let's put Joji on this. Please, 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 please. Joji or Evis can take a look. Can I deploy something? Can I deploy prox? Okay, sorry, I just need to. Cool. I think that's it. Now we can go back to the actual. Oh, I forgot. Sorry, I didn't answer. I forgot my comments. My comments weren't turned on. Yeah, I'm not very conscious about being on the stream, so that's just how it is. Get used to it. Yeah, sorry, I was just not seeing the comments. Oh, nice. We can deploy this to staging. Let's say deploy staging. Run workflow. What was it? VS support. Run workflow. Okay. Let's. Oh, that's not my code. This is code. Good morning. Breaking more? Am I breaking stuff? Let's see. New terminals. Why is this not? Pitch. Oh, yeah. Rename agent client. Let's see. Shells. Shells. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Const shells. Await. Get shells. This would also. Oh. Agent. agent. Oh, we need, wait, no, this is not correct. Oh, it is. We need the send. I shall send. So this was shells. We need that one, and then here. Send. And there we go, send. And then, yeah, terminals is happy. And then hosts, yeah, we should just pass in. Okay, so here we have, so we shouldn't, do we have the ID here? No, we don't. Maybe we should just expose that on the agent client as well. Sandbox ID. Picture client, sandbox ID. Not user workspace, instance ID. There we go. Cool, and then dot sandbox ID, and then git agent client, agent client. Okay, git add disposable. Okay, I guess. Okay. Thinking. Okay, I guess we can extend. Yeah, we can have a disposer here. Should we just extend disposable? We have to make sure here that we're not actually I guess this needs to be super. Yeah. Like that. I'm a little bit unsure about this though. Yeah, I just don't like extending disposable. It's very annoying. I rather want to say dispose and then this dot picture client dot dispose. Is it? Yeah, it kind of sucks that it doesn't support. Like it has to be like actually on will dispose. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't put that into the. Wait. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so we have the. Yeah, is up to date. This would be sandbox ID. What are we missing here? You need to be able to disconnect and reconnect. Well, you should definitely be able to disconnect. Reconnect is, I don't think you should be able to do that in Node. You should rather connect again. Or this is the tricky thing, but we actually have an issue on this where the thing is when you reconnect, you actually have to go and resume the instance first. Yeah, this is the thing we didn't take into account designing the API. It's like when you create or resume a sandbox, you get a reference to the sandbox, but there's no connection to it. So when it hibernates, for example, while you have a connection, you have to resume it before you can connect again. But you can't, like, you have to have a connection to know that state. And sometimes you don't want that connection. You just want to create a browser session. This is the whole thing. It's like you can use it so many different ways. You can just get a sandbox to create a browser session with no connection. The connection happens in the browser, or you can create a connection on the server. And if you create a connection on the server and it disconnects, we have to resume the VM again to create a new connection. Yeah. I guess what we can do is when you call reconnect, we could go and resume the VM. Maybe that's better. So we do allow you to, yeah, that could be a nice fix for the other issue as well. But that means, okay, let's take a look at this. We need disconnect and reconnect at least. But the point of like reconnect is that this whole thing is gonna potentially change. Okay, let's just introduce it first, and then we're gonna look at it for the node client. Disconnect, promise void, I guess. Reconnect, promise void. Disconnect. Picture client. Oh, what's going on with my... Come on. There you go. Disconnect. And reconnect. Nice. So then we have that in place. Oh, we also have system. Let's bring in system. System client update. Let's see. Export interface. iAgent client system. System iAgent client system. System, well, I guess class browser system. No, that was right. Fine. And now we have that in place, and then it's the freaking, yeah, is up to date. Let's add that, fix that first. So that is up to date, is a boolean. And yeah, so is up to date. I think we have to make this host response. I think, and we also have boot up type, right? Or maybe that's not part of the agent. Oh, we have is up to date here. Is that an actual call? Okay, nice. Yeah. Mm, yeah. Yup. And now it's this state thing. So this is implemented with, I built this. So I had this whole like phase, like a teenager. It was almost a decade of going into state machines and like properly expressing state changes. Because this is not something we actually do, like not in a type safe, restricted way, at least. We kind of just put variables all around and control each related variable manually, which is like not good really, but we don't really have good abstractions for it either. So I've been trying like all kinds of different abstractions, and this is one of them. But I do not think we should use this directly, even though the thing is that from Pitcher Client's perspective, this state actually has a ton of information. So the question is, but it's a lot of information. I wonder if this should just be the state, if it's like connected, disconnected, and so on. So we're gonna try something. Do we have Pitcher Client here? Pitcher Client state. Where's state? Do we have state here? There we have state. Pitcher Client state. So you see connected, connecting, reconnecting, hibernated, disconnected. So we can have yeah, the thing I'm not sure about is the reconnect in node, because we have to resume from hibernation. We need to we have to resume from hibernation. And I'm wondering if there's going to be any changes there. Maybe it's fine. Like there is like this insane risk that maybe the VM agent is suddenly out of date when you reconnect, and then that flag is wrong. Like we could update it when you reconnect. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we should have this state. I'm just thinking we only need the actual like label. We don't need to have like last activity, last focus connected that, because this really only makes sense in the browser and is only used in the browser, like was focused, for example. So I'm thinking about just exposing these labels because they are, yeah, as you say, super valuable. But it also means on the node version, we have to, well, that's not a big deal. Okay, but let's do that. Let's take these connected, connecting, reconnecting, hibernated, disconnected, and make that the state. So let's see. So state is connected, reconnecting, disconnected, hibernated. That's all of them, wasn't it? Oh, where was the typing? Where was the typing? Yeah, I think it's those. Let's see. So if we say state, and then, yeah, sorry. And then we have on state change should be the same things. Well, what's interesting about having these event emitters is that sometimes it makes sense to give them a payload, but other times it's just a flag that says some property changed, and then just access the property again. But I guess we can pass it as well. So if we make this export type, I guess it will be iAgent client state. And then we have on state change event iAgent client state change. Yes. And then inside our thing here, yeah, so this is the abstraction I built. So we just do this. That's the initial state. Oh, doesn't it work? Did I miss one? Oh, connecting. There's a connecting as well. Cool. Nice. And then on state change. Oh, come on. Is there a simple way for us to do this? No, we have to map it. But this is fine. Let's see. We have state, and then we have private on state change emitter, which is new emitter. On state change. Need to get it. Yeah, we need to review all of the session code so it doesn't point to picture client. And then what we're gonna do here is picture client on state change. We're basically just gonna proxy it on fire this. Oh well, I guess this gives you the state, right? But we also need to, yeah, this.state equals state.state, and then we emit the event. So it's kept up to date. Okay, cool. This makes sense. And since we're disposing the whole thing here, we don't need to explicitly dispose of this on state change. That's fine. And then, is that it? I think that's it. Nice. Yeah, so this is gonna be a breaking change, that's for sure. But likely nobody's using these APIs anyways. So it's not a big breaking change, but it's technically a breaking change. Well, I do guess because of us, so picture client is like preloading a bunch of stuff that we don't want to do in Node. And the preloading has the effect that certain APIs are synchronous that you would actually expect to be asynchronous. So for example, getting a list of shells. That's actually synchronous in the browser SDK. But since we want consistency between the sessions on the server and the client, we need to make that async. So that's the biggest breaking change, is that getting a list of shells or getting a single shell or getting a single task, all of those are actually async now, even though in the browser SDK, they are like preloaded and kept up to date and will actually return synchronously. But that doesn't matter. There's not like a performance hit doing that. So let's take a look now. Agent, so this should be rename agent client. Yeah, and this agent protocol, didn't I change the name of it? Oh. Browser agent. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Sorry. So this is the agent. Oof, we need to organize this in a way that shows these abstractions better. So the agent protocol is just a connection. But I'm not. Yeah, we talked about this yesterday as well. I think that separation just makes it a bit more confusing. Because we could say that we have a node agent client instead. And then that connection is just part of it. I think we should do that. So that when we go to Sandbox here, we don't actually like separate this stuff. We don't like first create a connection, then we go and create a protocol, and then we go and create the client. Like that seems completely unnecessary. We just want to create a new node agent client. And we don't even want to pass it. Yeah, and we could pass it the session. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And then we pass it the session. Though we pass it the session, but to be able to do a reconnect in the node SDK, we also have to resume the VM, which is something that's on the actual SDK. So the question is then, should we pass? We have an API client. Yeah, that's the thing I don't like about this, because we have to then, it's at the sandboxes level, we actually have the resume call. So then we have to pass that down to the sandbox, and the sandbox has to pass that down to the node. And it, to me, that just indicates that there's something about the having like a session that you shouldn't like just reconnect on the session, because it requires something. It has a higher level requirement, which is the resuming of the sandbox. So if you are hibernated or disconnected or anything like that, you have to go and resume the VM first, which gives you a new sandbox instance, and then you can connect to that sandbox instance. And then everything's up to date as well. Yeah, I think it has to work like that. And then if you were to try to access like anything and you are not connected, yeah, this is tricky. Okay, let's not make that decision now. Let's first implement the node agent client. So let's rename this to node agent client. And this needs its own folder because this is much more complex than node agent client. Well, sorry, we can still keep the agent protocol here. Agent protocol, but then we're gonna have a new file called index.ts, which exports the class of node agent client. The tricky thing now is that if you want to create this node agent client, let's see, browser. So what we do here is that we have this process before, like we're just passing picture client. So it has its own. Oh yeah, no, I'm not replacing the REST client. It's just that we don't have a use case yet for the REST client. So I'm just not focusing on that at the moment because we have to fix the current usage, which is the WebSocket connection on the server. And because of history, to move fast, we used the browser SDK from CodeSandbox and made it compatible in Node, but it means that it includes a shit ton of dependencies that shouldn't be there. And a lot of behaviors that's not relevant on the server and so on and so on. But there was a issue. For a user who was deploying this to the edge, and because of the dependencies in this like browser SDK made compatible in Node, caused issues for them. So we have to clean that up. And then there are like two paths. So there's like, okay, do you want to create this agent client? Is this the thing we should develop in different languages because you want that feature set in the different languages? Or do we do REST? Or do we do both? Like, these are just like different ways of interacting with the sandboxes. Oh no, you don't have to rewrite anything. But this is what I love, right? Is that like we're exploring, right? What's the actual correct way of doing this? And maybe there's multiple ways. And as I'm constantly saying, there's so many ways to use this, so many different products, so many different use cases. So I have a feeling like at the end of this, what I hope we'll see is that we're gonna have different SDKs. So there's not like one CodeSandbox SDK. What you do is that you choose what SDK you need for your use case. So there's a browser SDK, there's a Node SDK, and then there's potentially a Python SDK and other SDKs, which is this WebSocket stuff. But then there's also, no, I just want REST, right? So you just use the REST SDKs, and those are like, REST is REST, and you can use it in any language, and we can generate stuff from OpenAPI and stuff. But I don't know yet. We'll see where we end up, but just exploring all the paths, that's super awesome. Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, no, the rest is in good health, and we're definitely gonna keep exploring that and not breaking anything. I guess the question is just, do we want to refactor the Node SDK to use REST under the hood? Or should there be a Node SDK that's based on the actual like picture protocol with the WebSocket connection and all the things it can do? Yeah. So we're basically prepping the abstraction now, where the implementation is going to be the way it's working now, but that implementation might be replaced with REST, if that makes more sense. Or we're just going to have REST is one thing, this SDK thing is a different thing. Where were we? Yes, so the point is the browser agent client is created by, there's this process that's running first, which is part of picture client, which is basically initializing. Yeah, it's actually, where is it? Not create pre, oh, sorry. Yes, yeah, I agree. I agree. And it's so much and you can broaden like crazy with REST, right? It's so easy to maintain and generate. Yeah, but there's also there's also a question like we have the picture protocol hard coded in TypeScript now. Should we rather move that to an open API spec, and then we can at least, like you do, like you just generate the models or whatever you call them in the different languages, like the types for the requests and responses and stuff like that. But that means we need to really change that typing first. So yeah, so there's a lot of steps there. But I think what we're doing here now is a really good first step. It gives us more flexibility and it fixes the issues for the user. So yeah, services and models. Yes, sorry. So here we have something connect to Sandbox, and we need something similar for Node. So what I'm wondering is, well, let's first, agent client would be a new browser agent. Well, it should be browser agent client. Where are you? New browser agent client, and we're going to pass picture client, and then we're going to pass agent client into the session, because session is generic, or is the same API regardless of browser or all REST into sockets. Some of them. Yeah. Yeah, there is something there. The thing, yeah, I wonder if that can be the story. Like it would be, I think the best result of this would be that we actually translate the whole picture protocol into an open API spec. But then we use that spec to just generate, as you say, like the services and the models and stuff. And then we choose what's the mechanism. Like we can then use WebSocket again with a single endpoint, as you say, where we pass this as messages. I would at least explore that first, right? The thing I'm curious about is like, okay, there's a lot of work. Well, not maybe that much work using AI. We already done some of it, the translation of the protocol. I think the thing that's not clear to me is how do we use OpenAPI to define endpoints that are notifications. That is not you sending a request and getting a response. It's just a message coming in. How do you actually define that in an OpenAPI spec? Because the way I understand that, it's all request response. It's not just like events or messages. Yeah. But again, I am no expert in it, and I would love to learn more about it. So, but I like the concept of being able to do that, because then we can generate for any language the actual protocol, and then as you say, we can choose to use the actual REST endpoint in the agent, or we can use the existing WebSocket connection in the agent. Oh, I'm just sitting here scrolling, aren't I? So we have connect to Sandbox. And what I'm wondering here is if we should just do the same thing. So they kind of look the same. So we have a node agent client here. So what that basically means, yeah, so this is where we're gonna implement the actual client, but then this client needs, this client should have an actual ongoing connection. That's the point. And what's going to create that connection? That has to be the actual connect in the SDK. So maybe it does need to work like that. So yeah, like it should pass an actual connected instance. So maybe agent client here would actually have to be a new node agent client, and we're going to pass in wait, join result, that's fine. Node agent client. Oh, this is not, yeah, sorry. Agent protocol. Yeah, it's a little bit, oh, but it needs to work this way. So we're gonna have this connect, it's gonna set up the session, it's gonna set up the connection to the sandbox, it's gonna create the agent protocol, which allows us to actually join the sandbox, make everything ready to roll. And then we're going to pass that agent protocol into the node agent client so we can actually make the requests we want to make based on that interface. So I guess the thing I'm kind of a little bit off about is like agent protocol. Because it isn't a protocol. This is the message passer. Like it was called a message handler inside Pitcher client. So I feel like, yeah, I think we're going to rename that to something else. And we're going to create a static method for doing this. So let's call it node agent client. Maybe it can just be connection. Yeah. Let's just call it connection. Agent connection. Yeah. We're going to try that. Rename agent connection. Oh, we already have this. Yeah, create. Sorry, we already have it. Nice. Okay, and then here we're not going to do all of this stuff. We're just going to say agent connection.create, and we're going to pass it the URL. We're not going to have this, and then agent connection, and then we're going to pass that agent connection. Oh, wait, where did that come from? Agent connect, wasn't it agent connection? Wait, what did I do? I broke something. Wait. Why is that suddenly not there anymore? Oh, sorry, that's the actual, sorry. Okay, I know why. So we need to have this connection set point detection timeout. That's fine. And then we're going to pass the agent connection into the node agent client. And then we're going to pass the agent client Yeah, and this is probably breaking because we're missing a bunch of stuff currently. So that's fine. Okay, this is good. This is good. Now the question is, I think we need to pass some more stuff in here because we need to know a few things. Does this join result? We're at latest picture. Okay. It has picture version. Wait, why does it only have latest picture version? Why doesn't it have picture version? Oh, version, sorry. Okay, interesting. Let's see. What do we need here? We need, it's sandbox ID, workspace path, and is up to date, and the state. So that's going to be connected. That's our initial state. Is up to date is something we need to... Okay, you know what we're going to do? I think we're going to pass in... the join result. Because that, I believe that's going to have all the info we need, except it doesn't have the actual ID of the thing, does it? No. But the agent connection does. Does it? No, that doesn't have the ID either. Okay, I guess we just have to pass it in then. But I'm not confident why do we need is up to date on... Okay, we need to review that because I don't think we need is up to date here. That's just thingy, like we're passing to the session. So the session also has that information if it's up to date, right? Is up to date. Yeah, that also has is up to date, which makes sense. Okay, fine. We can have that there. But we need to pass in the sandbox ID, the workspace path, and is up to date. Sandbox ID is not part of the... Yeah, I think we should just pass these in. That's simpler. So in our constructor, we're going to have the actual agent connection. And that's the thing that's going to drive everything. But we're also going to have some params. And these params are going to be like sandbox ID, workspace path, and is up to date. And then we're just going to set them. Yep. Like that. And now we have our agent connection. And then when we create this, we can simply sandbox ID will be this ID. And then we have everything we need. Great. Oh, I didn't check my day. I should check to see if I have any. Let's see. I'm just going to check to see if I have any sessions to... Oh no, I have to log in. I always forget my password. Let's see. Christian together. Oh, sometimes it fills it in. Yes. Let's see. I can't wait until we get to no password world. I guess we kind of already are there, but I just haven't taken the time to configure. Okay, so I do have, oh, that's just a weekly sync. Okay, so yeah, we have a lot of time today. That's nice. So let's just get to it. So now we just need to, basically what we did here, all this stuff, we're now gonna implement this here, the same stuff. And we can try to, where should we start? Maybe we should start with the disconnect. Yeah, the worst parts. Reconnect. So, yeah, and we need to know. This is gonna be a bit of work. Oh my god. Okay, let's just, the thing that's not gonna be much work is the actual different namespaces, because those are basically just requests. So that's gonna be easy to do. But things like agent connection, yeah, we need to be able to listen to changes to the underlying connection. But doesn't this on disconnected, on did dispose, on missing heartbeat, on missing heartbeat? What happens then? Does it actually... What do we do on missing heartbeat? Does it actually... No, it just says that it's missing, right? I wonder what we do in picture client when there's a missing heartbeat. On missing... Oh, sorry, it should be here. Yeah, it disconnects. Yeah, exactly. But it checks if we have messages. So there can be big messages that causes the... Oh my god. But this agent connection, this has pending messages, right? Yeah. Okay, so I think we're just going to do the same thing. But we have to expose the actual connection so that we can listen to the underlying things. Yeah, so we can rather do public connection, and then we don't have to do this. Then we have some more control. So we're rather gonna say here connection, and then inside here we're gonna say this.agent connection on, sorry, connection on disconnected. We're gonna say this.state equals disconnected. And this is also gonna be if this.pen, oh, sorry, this agent get, oh, wait a minute, no, this is wrong. Ah! Agent connection. Oh, wait a minute. No, we're implementing this in the wrong place. We're gonna have this here, of course. blah, 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 blah. So we're going to say, we're going to actually keep the state on the connection here. Cool. So we're gonna have, and then, yeah, we're changing this, and then we need an emitter here. So that will be on state change. Well, let's just copy it over. Oh, I don't have it there. Let's see. Sorry, private on state change emitter equals emitter. That should be a new emitter. And then, no, come on. On state change, thank you. Yeah, and what we should also do here is we should make this thing a getter and a setter. Oh. Oh, come on. Get state, return state, set state. Yes. So now we emit an event whenever we change the state. So we don't have to do this. We're not going to do this. On missing heartbeat, if this dot pending messages of size equals 0, we're going to say that we're disconnected. And then we're also going to handle, that's the thing I don't quite like about getters and setters. It's hard to, you don't expect to have logic in them. Well, I guess setters, you might expect that. Like, that's why you have a setter. But yeah, the point is if state equals disconnected, what we want to do is say this dot connection dispose. Okay, but then we have another thing that we also need to handle, and that is hibernated. And that's actually, we actually need to pass on notification. Method would be, why are you being such an ass? Yeah, but system, why isn't it? Hey, why aren't you giving me the notification method? Oh. Oh. I'm not getting the correct typing here. Extends picture notification equals picture notification. Why isn't it? Hey. I think maybe we need these to be. Okay, find notification. Rename to picture notification. And then we're going to do the same with response. Picture response. And then I guess we have request as well. Picture request. And now I should have a better... Is it actually system hibernate? Oh, it is actually system hibernate. Okay, so we get a notification from the sandbox when it's about to hibernate. So we're going to say this state hibernated, and yeah, and we're also going to dispose of the connection. Hello. Oh, this is also going to require a lot of testing. That worries me. Yeah. Let's see. We're just going to fix a small thing on the... I got some feedback on the proxy thing. Oh. Right. So instead of preventing redirects only on WebSocket, we should rather identify... Yeah, but how do we know that? But how do we know? Oh, yeah. So was thinking that on the request we identify if it is a text HTML, and only then we actually do the redirect and give HTML error responses. If not that, we should use the current WebSocket flow, because this should be the same for like an API request. Well, oh, it's just the errors. When returning errors, could you rather check if it is a non-HTML request, so that not only WebSocket but any request that is not text HTML should get proper error codes and not an HTML response on errors. Something like that. I think Sandbox was different than the special workspace was added later. Sandbox is in. Okay, but why is Sandbox empty? We should always use workspace then. Okay. What were we doing? Okay, so now we're handling hibernated and that stuff, but now we're like breaking down the connection as we talked about, because when this happens, you need to go and resume the VM at a higher level to guarantee that you actually have a VM to connect to. And you need to do that and connect to the sandbox again. So this.agent connection dispose. Okay, and it just needs to be async. Yeah, so the reason this is async is because in the browser version, we are waiting for messages to be sent. We could do the same here. Yeah, I think we should do that. Okay, so this should have a disconnect where we actually wait for, let's see, disconnect. I think we can just copy over that logic because we have disconnect here. Yeah. Let's just copy that over. Oh, look at you. Okay, I trust you. Helper function to determine if a request expects. Wow, that's a big ass helper function. Oh, interesting. Okay. And then let's see where this is being used. Is HTML request. Do we still have like is WebSocket? Yeah. And then again, we're doing that. Yeah. Okay, I think that's good. Like we're gonna clean this up, but we need to test it first. Status codes on none. And let's go in and deploy again. Boop. Cool. We're gonna test that. Yes, so this is basically, yeah, this is not, oh, wait, I'm in the wrong. Async. So if this is not a thing. So if we have well, we do say this.state disconnected immediately. Well, no, we can't. Oh my God, we can't do that now. Yeah, but maybe the correct thing really here is to say we're only disconnected. Of course, we're not actually disconnected until we've sent all the messages. So that's the right way to do this. So if we have messages pending, we're going to wait for those messages to go through. And then we're going to say that you're disconnected. And then, yeah, we can just await that. And then when we reconnect, that's the thing. There is no good way to reconnect. And I think we should remove it from, I don't think we should have reconnect because it's confusing. And you cannot really, well, that's the thing. In the browser client, it does make sense to reconnect because what happens there is that in the browser, it calls the get session callback, which calls the server, which resumes the VM, and then you're back up and running. That made me also think that I wonder if we should make a change there. Because now I think, and let me note that. Now I think we always go to the server. We should not always go to the server on reconnect. Should try first with WebSocket and then call server if fails. Because you can reconnect. You can reconnect directly to the WebSocket. Without resuming. But it could fail. Like maybe it was restarted or something like that. Yeah, we need to fix that so we have quicker reconnects. But yeah, so what do we then do on the server? I think we kind of have to throw an error here. Or, well, we can try to reconnect, I guess. Yeah, maybe we should look at this immediately. So we can set up. How are we gonna do this? Well, it definitely would mean await this agent connection reconnect as well. Agent connection, that was reconnect. If this state equals well, not equals disconnected, or why are you complaining? Oh, this is gonna be return. Wait, what's this? Oh, I hate these double. If not, I think this reads better. There we go. Yeah, it's just mind bending needs. So if not, it's disconnected or hibernated. We're gonna return because that just means there's no reason to reconnect. And then we need to be able to tell the connection. Well, basically, we want a new connection. That's the point. So we have this create thing up here, right? So we need to dispose of the current connection, and then we need to set up a new one. But now we need a reconnect token, which we get from the stay safe, Mark. Have a good session. So this gets a little bit more complicated now. Yeah, I think this join thing, this needs to actually happen. Ah, dag nugget. Okay, this needs to happen here at least. But now... this is such a complex flow. But now we have an agent connection. I think I need some food. The problem is we need to send join, but to send join, we need an agent connection. But to reconnect, we need information from the join. So we kind of... okay, agent connection equals... and then we can do... yeah, join version is coming from the protocol. This is coming from types, that's fine. So we have... oh, we have this join result. But that means we have to put the workspace path on the... damn it. But now we have to put... this also has the workspace path. So there's certain information we need from the join result. This bothers me. There's something about the separation of concerns there. Oh, interesting. Yeah, okay, so we can have... let's see, sorry, join result. How are we gonna do this? What we can do is like we can like set the workspace path and the reconnect token. But I don't like that. It just indicates that there's something fishy about how we do this. Instantiation is so difficult in async flows because you don't want to do anything async during instantiation. You want to do it in between instantiation. But we can't make this request with just the WebSocket connection. We need an agent connection. Oh, this sucks. Wait, okay. So what we can do, sorry. So we can change this back. Yeah, new agent connection. And in the sandbox, we're gonna keep doing this, but we're gonna pass the reconnect token here, which is coming from join result. Reconnect token. Yeah, and then node agent client is gonna have a reconnect token. Reconnect token string, and we're gonna have a private reconnect token, which is a string. And then we're gonna say this is a reconnect token. That's gonna be async. And then what we have to do, we just have to yeah, we just have to pass it the reconnect token. This.reconnect token. But this is so weird because we have to join again when we reconnect, I think. Oh no, we don't have to do that. No, we should just do the reconnect token. Yeah, it's just like setting up the connection again. Yeah, let's see. Reconnect token. And we're not gonna await this dot connection. Yeah, no, we're gonna dispose. Yeah, sorry. Do we have a URL here? No, that's here. Well, that's fine. We can pass in the URL. Here. Oh my God. Or we would have to put the reconnect, but I want to actually dispose of this WebSocket client and set it up again. So we'll need to pass the URL in here. I don't like this. This is too complex. So we want to say disconnection.dispose. And then we want to say create WebSocket client with this.url, but we need to add the URL with reconnect token, new URL, well, cons URL, this URL, yes. And then we're connected again. Okay, this is going to be interesting to test. But this is how that needs to work. I'm just going to double check how we actually do the reconnect in yeah, so this is attempt reconnect, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Request picture. Yeah, so this is the thing that I'm curious about. Like, we're actually going and requesting an instance, but that shouldn't be necessary. It's more if we can't do this, we should go and grab the instance, because you should be able to reconnect without, like, it should wake up again. That's the point. So that's something we can explore. But yeah, and then we're passing the reconnect token. Oh, it's reconnect token like this. Okay, that's fine. Agent connection, reconnect token. Okay, cool. So now we should have a connection. So now we are gonna start implementing the different things. So if we look at the browser, but I'm gonna stop the stream now because I'm hungry. Okay, so we're gonna do shells first. So this will be class node agent client shells implements iAgent client shells. And then we're gonna have a constructor that's gonna give us the agent connection. And then we have kind of what we need to some extent. Okay, this is where we're gonna continue after lunch. Yeah. Cool. Bye for now.